I experienced a major disruption in my mail service this fall when basically I stopped receiving mail. I've been receiving mail at my address for over 30 years, and suddenly it just came to a halt. Oddly enough, bills seem to make it through, and anything from the government, but any checks or financial statements all seem to go missing. After I caught on to what was happening, I called the US Post Office to report it, and they said it's all part of a new initiative to crack down on crime. I said, "Well, I'm not conducting crime here." And they said, "Well, yes, but others are." They said people send themselves illicit drugs and contraband without a name on it and then claim it was all a big mistake when they're apprehended. They say neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from their swift completion of their task, unless you happen to live in downtown Chicago. Welcome. Welcome to Illinois Bridging Awareness. I'm Stanley Smith at Illinois Bridging Awareness, where we're trying really, really hard to find our way in the heat of this day and the gloom of night. In Illinois and in other states, we're hearing a convergence of topic right now about standing up and saying no. Enough, enough is enough. My liberal Jewish friends are telling me that the progressive movement it's gone too far. And on platforms, we hear the need to educate ourselves for righting this ship. None of us want to live our lives treated like a criminal, especially when you're not one. When I called the US Post Office, they launched an investigation into my mail situation. They apologized for the disruption and told me they're tightening up on protocols due to increased mail fraud and crime. They told me that every piece of US mail is photographed so that there's a record of all potential evidence. I found that chilling and comforting, both at the same time. People are on topics and issues we've never even thought of. Last week on the call, I shared a quote from Byron Stevenson about how we're better than the worst thing we've ever done. I traced this quote to a TED Talk Mr. Stevenson presented on the topic of mass incarceration and crime. He talked about how we label people and see them as embodying one part of who they are instead of recognizing their humanity. In this time of Advent, we're all labeled as people who need to be patient and wait, but we're much more than just that. We're also impatient and anxious. If we're better than the worst part of ourselves, striving for fixing everything and waiting for everything to be better is probably a folly. God's kingdom starts at the top of the bottom of where we are. We need to get to the bottom first. This is why we're cautioned about how it's harder for a rich man to enter heaven than it is for a camel to go through the eye of the needle. We all strive for a good life and good things, but sometimes that gets in the way. During this dark and gloomy time in history, we can see the hope in the gloom. It's in times like these that God's kingdom breaks through. Just like receiving that long-awaited check in the mail. Yes, it's way too late, and we've already incurred the late fees, but the magical part of God's kingdom is that we just don't seem to care anymore. In a perverse way, we need to be thankful for that. Paul Engel asks us each week in the Conservative Hour, what have we ever done that cost us something? Anything worth fighting for is going to cost us. Knowing what's important and being educated about what's important to you and how God is trying to meet us halfway down the road is what's important. Whether the check is in the mail or not, you don't need a stamp and you don't even need a mailbox. You just need a heart, a mind, and a soul. If you would like to join us at Illinois Bridging Awareness, the Saturday call is every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video. I'll be happy to send you an invitation, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.